How's it going, everyone? My name is George, and today we are reviewing Batman 1989, which was directed by Tim Burton and stars Jack Nicholson as the Joker, Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, and Kim Basinger as Vicky Vale. And I was originally going to wait to review this film because I didn't think I would have enough time to review it before the Batman or the other Batman movies. And I know Michael Keaton is going to appear as Batman in The Flash and Batgirl later this year. Although there's a possibility that both films or one of those films are going to get postponed. But just in case, I figure, you know what? I got some time. If I don't review all the films before the Batman comes out, whatever I don't get done, I'll get done after the Batman. And also, I was in the mood to rewatch Batman 1989 because this is a film that I love to watch. I love this film. And going back at it, and I just felt like talking about it. And by the way, I am excited to see Michael Keaton return as Batman later this year or next year, as long as none of the films if any of the films get delayed. Who knows at this point? So in Batman 1989, we see this criminal Jack Napier later become the Joker after falling in a pool of chemicals after an encounter with Batman. And basically, he's going to disrupt Gotham's bicentennial. They're celebrating their anniversary. And while Batman's going about this, he falls in love with this reporter named Vicky Vale. And basically, we got our Batman movie. Now, some people will criticize the things that, like the fact that the special effects may not hold up all that well, or the action looks like it's aged. And I get that, but I always give a pass those kind of things. Like for 1989, the special effects looked great. The action was great. I always have leniency when it comes to things that may not have aged all that well 30-something years later. To me, the main criticisms that I would have of Batman 1989 is more so of the story decisions that aren't bad, but will basically get Batman fans annoyed. Such as the fact that it's Jack Napier, many years before he becomes Joker, that kills the Waynes, not Joe Chill. The fact that Alfred lets Vicky Vale into the Batcave in a way that kind of just feels forced. It's just stuff like that where it's like, I can't see this happening in any Batman lore. And I get it. This is Tim Burton's movie. It's his take. But sometimes it kind of feels off. Now, Jack Napier killing the Waynes, I'm more mixed on. I'm not negative on. Because on one hand, from a story decision, it has a larger impact on the story. But at the same time, I don't know. I've never really been... It's not something that I've always kind of been 100% used to. Having said that, I think the way Burton handled it was the best way that he did. And as far as the whole Vicky Vale being led into the Batcave by Alfred thing, I don't know. It's not that obviously people will say, that's Alfred's last day of employment in Wayne Manor. For me, it just kind of felt like it was rushed. I don't know. To me, it just felt that way. As far as performances go in this film, I love Michael Keaton's performance as Bruce Wayne, aka Batman. I like that they go for a more mysterious take on Bruce Wayne. However, I think where Christian Bale did better as Bruce Wayne than his Batman persona, I feel like Keaton is better as Batman than Bruce Wayne. I do wish, though, they had more Bruce Wayne in this film, because it feels like they focused more on Joker. And don't get me wrong, Jack Nicholson is great as the Joker. I love every second he's on screen. One thing I do enjoy about the film is the party man scene where he's ruining all this art. Just a very entertaining scene. But yeah, I feel like they could have focused more on Keaton as Batman, especially because with people reacting badly to when Keaton was cast at first, because Keaton was more of a comedic actor before he got the role as Batman, but then he surprised everyone and everyone loves him now. I just felt like they could have done more with that. Luckily, Batman Returns did give us more Keaton on the screen, so that's a relief. That's one thing they improved on. Kim Basinger as Vicky Vale's okay. Nothing really stands out other than the fact that she's Bruce Wayne's love interest, and also the Joker later becomes infatuated with her. The supporting cast also works pretty well in this film. Robert Wuhl as Knox is good comedic relief. Basically, he's this journalist that before everyone sees who the Batman is, he has this Batman story and everyone makes fun of him. And he's not like a forced comedic character. Just the way his lines come across and some of his facial expressions, I felt like were timed perfectly. Michael Gough, Pat Hingle, and Billy D. Williams as Alfred, Commissioner Gordon, and Harvey Dent, they work pretty well as well. But obviously, if you're used to having Alfred and Commissioner Gordon play a bigger role in your Batman movies or shows, you're going to be disappointed that they're not in this movie as much as they usually are. But despite that, they're still pretty good in these roles. And Gotham looks very good. I think because Burton's good at making gothic-looking films, he captures the city of Gotham well out of any of the live-action directors. And the Batmobile looks great. The Bat looks great as well. And the one thing I appreciate about Burton is, yeah, this is a dark movie, but it's also a movie that's got very enjoyable moments. And I think for a Batman movie that, if you want to see a Batman movie that has dark moments, but not overly dark moments, that also has some enjoyable moments, this is as good as you're going to get. Because later on down the road, people complain that Batman Returns was way too dark. Then people complain that Batman Forever and Batman and Robin were way too lighthearted. And the Dark Knight trilogy did a great job of being a mature Batman movie that still has some enjoyable moments. But again, I feel like not every young person's going to understand the film, or it may not be for them, especially later down the road in The Dark Knight. Batman vs. Superman, people complain that was way too dark. The Batman, as great as it looks, I have a feeling there's going to be a few people that will say it's way too dark. And I don't mind way too dark, but I'm saying for those people that are like, oh, we don't want dark movies, even if it's Batman, I think Batman 1989 will be more of their alley. Because, yeah, there's certain dark moments, like when Joker is electrocuting someone to the point where they're burned to a crisp. But on the other hand, you have some very enjoyable moments, like the Party Man sequence, or like the scene where like Bruce Wayne's like, you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. Things like that make Batman 1989 be the Batman movie that has a balance of enjoyable moments and also those dark moments. Now, one of my favorite, more serious moments of the film is the flashback sequence when you see the Waynes get killed by Jack Napier. I think they did a very good job of capturing what's been haunting Bruce Wayne since he was 8 years old. And I like the setup of it, because basically, at a certain point in the film, Vicky Vale's spying on Bruce Wayne, and she sees him in this alley, and she's very curious, like, what's the significance of this alley? And then Knox tells her that this is the alley where Bruce Wayne's parents were killed when he was 8 years old. And she sees, like, the look on his face when he's a kid. She's like, oh, I saw that look on his face when he saw the Joker here. And then, like, you see, going into, like, Bruce Wayne's next scene, you see him basically reliving that moment. And I think Burton did a very good job of, like, having those heartfelt moments. And I think those don't really get talked enough about. So Danny Elfman does the score in this film, and I praise Danny Elfman's score in the Spider-Man movies. And sure, this score may not be as iconic or as good as, or not good, as fantastic as the score in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films, but I still love Danny Elfman's score in here. It's got a very epic, mysterious, Norrish kind of tone, and that Danny Elfman hits it in all the right ways. And the thing is, this film, like, did a lot to help establish the Batman 1990s series with its gothic tone, with its score, with having a Norrish kind of feel. So, like, while people can have a debate as to, is Batman 1989 really a great film or not, you can make the case that it's definitely a cultural phenomenon film, because it helped establish the tone of Batman, in pop culture media. Because people forget, like, before this film came out, we had, like, that Adam West Batman show and the Adam West Batman movie. And those are fine. Those are enjoyable. But those were more of a goofy kind of aspect of Batman. And really, unless you read the comics, you really had no idea how dark Batman can be. How Gotham really is. And I love the fact that like this came out at a time when there was a lot of popular Batman comics in the 80s, like The Dark Knight Returns, The Killing Joke, and stuff like that leading up to Batman 1989 really establishes it's just the popularity of Batman. And all in all, I think Batman 1989 is a very good film that I love to watch. It's not perfect. It's not as good as the Dark Knight trilogy, but you know, I still love this movie. I love the performances in this movie. I love the dark and light moments in the film. I love the look of Gotham City. I love the score. The action and special effects may not hold up all that well now, but for the time they were very good. And yeah, I hope people who are younger like give this film a shot, especially because like I said, Keaton is returning as Batman. And for the younger people, you should familiarize yourself with Keaton's Batman and watch Batman and Batman Returns, especially because they're really good movies. Yeah, they may not be as fancy or not fancy as large of a spectacle as the Marvel and DC movies that we get today, but they're still solid movies that I think you should really go ahead and watch. And they've been out for a long time. You can probably find them on a streaming service, on DVD, Blu-ray, on TV. So if you haven't seen Batman 1989, go ahead and watch it. In fact, I would also recommend Returns. The other two films, Forever and Returns, well, we'll get there when we get there. But my final grade for Batman 1989 is an A-. I've always been back and forth between A- and B+, but because I enjoy this film so much, I'm going to give it an A- because I do love it. And really my only problems with Batman 1989 are more so some of the Batman inaccuracies that I probably wouldn't let slip. But in fairness to some of those problems, there was a writer's strike at the time and the film had to go through rewrites. And compared to other writer's strikes that have happened, like in 2008, that affected movies that came out later in 2008 and in 2009, I felt like Batman 1989 handled combating a writer's strike and still making a solid movie better than most films did. So props to that film. Now, what do you guys think about Batman 1989? Do you love this film? Do you hate this film? Is this your favorite Batman film? Because I know for some people it will be their favorite Batman film. Comment below and let me know. And I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Please like and subscribe already if you haven't. Please share this with someone that loves Batman, especially Michael Keaton Batman. And another question, are you looking forward to seeing Michael Keaton return later this year in The Flash and Batgirl? Let me know down below, and I hope to see you guys real soon. I hope to tackle Batman Returns this weekend, and I hope to see you guys real soon. Take care, everyone.